Coming up on Sports Paws, men's hockey takes on St. Mary's in their first action since last year's national championship run.
And with the MAAC underway, we'll see how teams are shaping up so far this fall.
Sports Paws?
Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to a brand new edition of Sports Paws. I'm Andrew Badillo.
And I'm Darnell Ragland, here to bring you everything that is Quinnipiac Bobcat sports.
Darnell, do you feel that cold breeze coming from the bank?
I do, Andrew, and you know what that means.
Yes, I do. Men's ice hockey is back here at Quinnipiac.
That's right, but before we get to that, USCHO.com's Division I's men's hockey poll was released Monday. The Bobcats were ranked 10th in the poll, receiving one first-place vote. Crosstown rival Yale was ranked 6th, while UMass Lowell got the top spot as the #1 team in the country. The Bobcats will take on the Riverhawks on October 18th and 19th.
Men's ice hockey is looking to carry the momentum of last season's success as they open up this season. It's the first game for the Bobcats since their 4-0 loss to Yale in last year's national championship game, as well as the first game without former goaltender and Hobie Baker finalist Eric Hartzell. The team took on the Huskies of St. Mary's in an exhibition matchup. The Quinnipiac Bobcats taking on the St. Mary's Huskies in the first exhibition game of the season. During the first period, Jordan Samuels-Thomas skates through the left circle, around the net, wraps it around to the slot where Peter Quenneville jumps on the opportunity off the post and in, giving the Bobcats the 1-0 lead. Now we move on to the second period. Bobcats are on the power play. Some nice puck movement. Some nice screens in front of the goal. Some nice footwork there by Jordan Samuels-Thomas, who rips it from the top of the circle past Anthony Peters, the goalie for the Huskies. Score is now 3-0 Bobcats. Later in the second period, Quenneville springs JST, who goes backhand 5-hole on Peters. Easy as that. The lead is increased to 4-0 for the Bobcats. We are still in the second period. The puck here is corralled by the Bobcats, and Connor Jones would be left alone. 5-hole for the goal. Puts the Bobcats up 5-0. The alternate captain would not be done there. Skating into the zone, Jones is using the defender as a screen. Puts it through Peters for the goal. The lead is increased to 6-0. It would only get worse for the Huskies. Third period, puck along the boards picked up by Connor Clifton, who gets it right back here. Snipe top ceiling on backup goalie Curtis Black. The score is now 7-1. QU would go on to win 7-2. And here is Kenesha McFadden with her 3 points on the Bobcats' victory.
My first point is goaltending. With the loss of Eric Hartzell, the Quinnipiac Bobcats have a huge gap to be filled in the net, and it seems to have been filled by sophomore goaltender Michael Gartig, who turned away every shot that he faced in the exhibition game against St. Mary's Huskies. My second point is the power play. The Bobcats had one of the worst power plays in the ECAC last season, and with the loss of Eric Hartzell, that needed to change. And in the exhibition game against St. Mary's, they did just that. In the first period, there wasn't much action on the power play for the Bobcats, but once the second period came around, there was a ton of veteran presence on the ice. Jordan Samuels-Thomas had 2 power play goals, and Connor Jones had another power play goal for the Bobcats, and they ended the game 4 out of 6 on the power play. My third point is the penalty kill. Last season, the Bobcats had one of the best penalty kills in the nation and in the ECAC. And in this season, the Bobcats hope to maintain the success they had last year. The Bobcats went 5 for 6 on the penalty kill against St. Mary's. I'm Kenesha McFadden, Q30 Sports.
The women's ice hockey team St. Cloud State with a score of 0-0 on Friday night. The game was the first of the 2-game series. Junior goalie Chelsea Ladden had a strong game with 19 saves. The Bobcats defeated St. Cloud State in a practice shootout 3-2, with senior forward Amanda Collins scoring the shootout winning goal. The shootout was not an official part of the game. The two schools had previously agreed to play a shootout as a practice.
The women's ice hockey team defeated St. Cloud State 3-1 in the second game of their 2-game series. Down by a goal after 2 periods, the Bobcats rattled off 3 unanswered goals in the final 8 minutes of play. Freshman forward Emma Woods scored her first 2 goals of her Quinnipiac career, with the second being the game winner. Goalie Chelsea Layden had another strong game between the pipes, finishing with 27 saves. Hockey Media Night is tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. up at the Bank. Men's ice hockey coach Rand Pecknold and women's ice hockey coach Rick Seeley will discuss their teams and the outlook on the upcoming season. Stay tuned to Q30 Sports for coverage of the event.
The field hockey team looked to bounce back from a 7-0 loss against Old Dominion. They faced Yale in the Play for the Cure game. Quinnipiac raised funds to support the National Foundation for Cancer Research during the game, while players wore pink in support of the cause. The Bobcats have not come up on the winning end against Yale recently, losing 3-2 in the last matchup. The Quinnipiac Bobcats field hockey team takes on Yale in the Play for the Cure game at the QU Turf Field. The Bobcats are dressed up in white and pink for the cause as they break off. As they start off the game, early in the first half, the Bobcats set up for a penalty corner. As they pass it off, it's set up, and off a pass from Jess Rusin, Jenlise Taylor rips one here in the back of the net to put the Bobcats up 1-0 in the first 4 minutes of the game as they celebrate walking off. Later on in the first half, Yale gets caught up trying to fight for the ball with the Bobcats. As the Bobcats have control of it, there seems to be a pause here, and out of nowhere, Amanda Danziger sweeps in and passes it to Daniel Allen here, who Daniel Allen then scores for the goal to put the Bobcats up 2-0 as they go off celebrating. In the final minutes of the first half, Rusin puts the ball easy in the back of the net as the goalie was not there to stop it, as the Bobcats go up 3-0 at half. Second half, Emily Schuker passes it to Erica Borgo to get Yale on the board, as QU still leads 3-1. The Bulldogs go off celebrating. Later on in the half, Brooke Gogol has the ball as she steals it right here, and she takes it down and whips it to Gabrielle Garcia, who then puts it behind Megan Conroy's back as Yale is trying to fight back in this one, down 3-2 now. Quinnipiac wants to hold the lead, as here they're at a penalty corner. They pass it around, trying to make something happen out of nothing. The Bobcats are still fighting around with the ball, trying to run out clock as they want to hold this 3-2 lead. Yale is trying to get the ball as quick as possible so they can have something to maybe tie this game, but the Bobcats do a great job of running out the clock, as Yale cannot get anything as they finally get the ball, but time soon runs out as this game is over. The Bobcats win in a final score of 3-2 as they defeat the Yale Bulldogs.
When we come back, the women's soccer team looks to continue their success in the MAAC as they take on Fairfield and Iona on the road. And women's volleyball looks to get on the right track as they play Ryder and St. Peter's in conference play. We'll be right back.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
On July 1st, the Quinnipiac Bobcats officially became members of the Metro Athletic Conference. The move comes with many changes both on and off the field. Since the announcement, the burning question has been, how will the teams fare in the new conference? Well, now the speculation is over for the fall teams as most begun MAAC play. The question now is, how are they doing? Q30 Sports' Arthur Bailin has more.
The 2012-2013 athletic season was marked with in-conference success, culminating in the Women's Basketball Conference Championship. But it was also significant for another reason. For the Quinnipiac Bobcats, it was the last season in the Northeast Conference. Effective on July 1st, 2013, Quinnipiac became a full member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, or MAAC. The move brings in many changes, one change being a move up in athletic stature.
I think it's a fresh start. There was a lot of old rivalries in the NEC, different type of game, different type of venue, different types of schools. The schools in the MAAC are more similar in socioeconomics, academics, the standing to Quinnipiac. So there's a lot more similarity between the schools in the MAAC. So it's almost a like for like comparison.
With the move up into the MAAC, another change has occurred not just off the field, but on the field as well.
I think to start off with, the clear-cut line between the NEC and the MAAC. The NEC is a lot more physical game, not necessarily technical football or soccer, but I think then the progress under the MAAC is that athleticism being one, and it's a lot more, as you guys would call it here, beautiful soccer. It's balls on the ground, and it's a lot more technical aspect of the game rather than physical.
Cross country, despite only having one in-conference matchup this year, the MAAC Championship, have also seen the changes.
Well, we're really excited to join the MAAC, and what I'm really hoping to get out of coming into the MAAC is really helping the women to step up to that next level regionally. Iona is a great team. They've traditionally been a great team in the MAAC, and they've won the last few years. So we know that we're going to have, some tough teams in the MAAC to challenge us. Marist is also a traditionally very strong team, so with the two of them in there, we know we're going to have a battle for that top spot. And it should be interesting, but I think overall it's going to help our women to step up to that next level and hopefully help us place better at regionals.
And I'm here at the QU soccer field in front of a new logo for a new conference. Now, to commemorate the new conference, Quinnipiac actually took the MAAC logo and redesigned it to fit the color scheme of the Quinnipiac Bobcats to commemorate the change to the new conference. Truly a momentous occasion for Quinnipiac athletics. Reporting live from the QU soccer field, I'm Arthur Bailin, Q30 Sports.
Coming off a 1-0 road win against Yale, the men's soccer team looks to keep rolling as they take on the Iona Gales. This game would be the inaugural MAAC appearance for the Bobcats and the first in-conference game of the year for both squads. The Bobcats have struggled to score goals all season, relying on strong defense and goaltender Borja and Goita to keep the team afloat.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats taking on the Iona Gales in the first MAAC game in men's soccer history. Early in the first half, James Doig with the set piece from midfield here as it goes off a Bobcat head on goal, but Julian Petrello makes an incredible save for the Gales, saying, "I own that ball." Second half, Franklin Castellanos with the ball here. He would chip it on goal, but it would sail over the net. No goal there. A little bit later on in the second half, Justin Ward would cross it into the middle to no avail, however. Play broken up. As we move along near the end of the second half, Samuel Adji crosses into the box saying, "Give me that ball!" But the ball goes off his head. Moving on, QU with the chance now here. Ball's crossed into Ward. Nice little flick there. Petrello on his horses, and he would break it up. Once again, no goals. A little bit later on, a shot here, but Borja Angoita would make that save. Hine crosses it in, Ward off the volley, but Petrello once again there for the save. We would move it along into overtime now. Hine along the sideline, nice little nutmeg here. The ball would eventually come to co-captain Brendan Straygood, who would have a rip, but it would go a little wide right. Moving along to the second overtime, Doig with the cross in here. Petrello would make the save, get a little bump, however, from Eric Panzer, and that would start a little scuffle on the sideline, where Panzer would actually push over Iona's Michael Holzer here to know there were no repercussions, however, as the final score was 0-0 in a tough, gritty defensive game.
Men's soccer in-conference play in the MAAC has started this past weekend, with 4 out of the 5 games ending in ties. Ryder defeated Marist 3-1, Niagara and St. Peter's played to a 2-2 draw, Fairfield and Monmouth tied 1-1, and lastly, Canisius and Manhattan both failed to score a goal in their matchup, finishing in a 0-0 tie.
Women's soccer sophomore goalie Natalia Grosky has earned this week's MAAC Player of the Week. She's recorded an impressive week for the Bobcats, allowing only 6 goals. She has a big impact on the team, ranking 4th in the MAAC in shutouts, and she is one of the few goalkeepers that has 2 wins in conference play. She has saved a save percentage under 1 and made 29 saves in the month of September.
The women's soccer team faced a big test Wednesday as they took on the Stags of Fairfield. The Bobcats are ranked 8th in the MAAC preseason poll, while the Stags projected to finish 1st. The teams battled to a 0-0 draw in double overtime. Strong goaltending from Bobcats goalie Natalia Grotsky showed why she earned MAAC Defensive Player of the Week, as she made some crucial saves to keep the tie.
The women's soccer team traveled to Iona and was defeated 1-0. Early in the first half, Iona players Sally Indy and Alex Chinich both had opportunities to score, but sophomore goalie Natalia Grotsky denied both attempts. Bobcat senior Beck Kidding had a shot on goal, but was blocked by Iona goalie Trista Rivera. In overtime, Linny Benson set up Nicole Palucci, who headed the ball in for a game-winning goal for the Gales.
After a busy week in the MAAC, here are the updated women's soccer standings. Monmouth is the current leader with 12 points and is undefeated in conference play. The Hawks defeated preseason favorite Fairfield Stags Saturday. Iona, Quinnipiac, Fairfield, and Siena are all tied for second with 7 points, while Marist, Niagara, and Ryder are all tied for sixth, with Manhattan, Canisius, and St. Peter's rounding out the bottom 3 slots.
The women's volleyball team is still looking for the first win in the MAAC in program history after losing to Manhattan by a score of 3-2. The Bobcats look to take down the Ryder Bronx this weekend at Burkhan Court. The Bobcats and Ryder had some thrilling games in the past, with the Bobcats leading the series between these two teams 3-1. Their last meeting dated back to 2007 when the Bobcats won 3-0. But now it's 2013 and the two teams face off once again. The Quinnipiac women's volleyball team takes on the Ryder Bronx here at Burkhan Court. Early in the first set, the ball gets served over as Emma Ogden sets it up for Jamie Palucci, who spikes it in for the kill. QU up 9-8. Now the Bobcats serve it over later as Ashley Natoli sets the ball up for Kayla Wong, who goes in for the point. QU now up 15-13. Near the end, Emma Ogden here sets it up for Jamie Palucci, who goes in for the kill as the Bobcats score again. Second set now. Ashley Natoli gets the ball and sets the ball up to Ryan Ackerman, who goes in for the kill here. Ryder tying the score 5-5. Later on, Brandy Hill sets the ball up to Nicole Norman, who goes in for the kill here, as Ryder now is up 10-6. Later on, Brittany Robinson sets the ball up to San Acolo for the kill here, as QU tying the score 7-7. Third set, they serve it over as Emma Ogden sets the ball up to Brittany Robinson here, who goes in for the kill. QU is now up 5-3. Here now, they score off Brittany Robinson with an ace. Fourth set, Ryder up 9-8. Onto the fourth set here, Brandy Hill sets it up to Ryan Ackerman, who goes in for the kill. Ryder up 7-6. And here later on, Emma Ogden sets it up to Allison Lehigh here, who goes in for the point. QU now up 21-20. And here Emma Ogden blocks the ball here for the final point to get the score. As they celebrate, Bobcats win 3-1 in the final score and defeat the Ryder Bronx. When we come back, we'll see if volleyball can follow up their victory over Ryder with another against the Peacocks of St. Peter's. And we'll see how the women's rugby team did against Army in a game that almost did not happen. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
The women's volleyball team played host to St. Peter's on Sunday. The Bobcats, coming off a win against Ryder, look to start winning streak of their own in their new conference against the Peacocks.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats take on the St. Peter's Peacocks. Bobcats looking for their second straight win in MAAC play. Here are the Bobcats getting ready before the game, warming up. We move it along to the first set, where Katie Uricki serving for the Bobcats right inside the white line for the ace. Bobcats go up 2-0 early. Bobcats continue to dominate. Laura Behrens here for the Peacocks, goes for the kill. However, QU sets it right back, and Allison Lee says hey for the kill. Bobcats take this first set 25-21. Second set, Jenny Pliski for St. Peter's. Bobcats cannot handle the serve, and it goes out of bounds. Peacocks take the early lead. Moving along, Peacocks still on the attack. Diana Everfoot run done with the kill. Ball goes to Tiara Allen, who unfortunately is not in the game. QU looking to get back in the game through the third set. Peacocks handle Allison Lee's attempt at a kill right here. Comes right back, but they cannot get past the wall. Brittany Robinson and Lee. Bobcats take the 16-12 lead. Bobcats set it back up here. Emma Ogden sets it up for Katie Uricki with the great finish. Bobcats take the third set, 25-23. Fourth set, here we go. St. Peter's looking to push it back. But an incredible save by Logan Riker right here. Emma Ogden can get it over the net as the Bobcats salvage the point. Here we go, match point. Bobcats looking to clinch the game. Ball goes over, great save by Riker again. Emma Ogden sets it up for Brittany Robinson for the kill. Bobcats take the game 3-1 for their second straight MAAC victory.
With speculation and predictions of how the Bobcats will perform this fall, in the past, we welcome in Connor Voss and Tom Cunningham as our analysts today to talk about how the fall teams played so far in the MAAC conference.
Some teams have started playing games in the MAAC, others have not. For the sports that have started playing the MAAC, how would you guys rank them thus far?
Well, for me, the number one team so far has been the women's soccer team. They're 2-1-2 so far in the MAAC, and they've been led by great goalkeeping by Natalia Grodzki. She's only allowed 2 goals in 5 conference games. Second would be the men's soccer team. Although they've only had 1 game, it was a shutout against a very talented Iona team. And third, I would say, is the women's volleyball team. They are 2-3 in the MAAC, which in most cases has exceeded expectations for what they had in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Tom in this case. The women's team, which is 2-1-2, they have been led by good goalie play from Grodzki, but they've also been led by good offensive play from players such as Jessica Fontaine and Anya McKeever, who have really been an offensive, aggressive force so far in MAAC play. Then again, the men's soccer team, who, although they've had good goalie play, they need to really step up on offense to prove that they're a force in the MAAC. And then, of course, the women's volleyball team. They're a young team with much left to prove.
Which sports do you feel benefit the most from the switch to the MAAC?
Personally, I believe it's the basketball teams. The men's team, who have been consistently good over the past few years but have yet to make the tournament, now get to play tournament quality teams in Albany. They get to play Iona twice, who made the tournament. They get to play some very talented teams for this season. The women's team, on the other hand, gets to, after making the tournament last year, gets to play national powerhouse Marist twice in a season. So if they can beat Marist, they can actually prove that they really belong in the MAAC and in the NCAA tournament.
As I agree the basketball team will benefit from their move to the MAAC, I think the team that benefits the most is the women's volleyball team. They are a very young team. They're 2-3 right now in the conference. They've played some very good competition. They've won their last 2 matches here at home. They have 3 more matches coming up at home to try to improve that record. So I think as they gain more experience in the coming years, as these freshmen progress, they will only get better.
Which team has surprised you the most with their play in the MAAC?
I think it has to be the women's soccer team. They're 2-1-2. They've been playing great all season long, right out of the gates. They've had strong goaltending from Natalia Grodzki. They've also had great play by the freshman Jessica Fontaine, who leads the team in points, and also great senior leadership by Beck Keating and Anya McKeever. So I think that team has been the most surprising so far.
The soccer team has done great, but for me, I'd say that the volleyball team has been the biggest surprise. They were not expected to do very well in the MAAC this season at all. In 5 games in, they're 2-3, which is better than what they expected. They've won 2 straight, and now with the game against Siena, they can really prove themselves. They've had a lot of good leadership from the seniors, and the freshman play has been outstanding as what really has led them to being so successful so far in the MAAC. And over time, they can only hope to get better and better.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
No problem.
The women's rugby team looked to pick up their 2nd consecutive win after defeating the University of Virginia 34-12 as they take on Army. Leading up to last Friday night, the game status was up in the air due to the government shutdown. All athletic programs at military academies were suspended. Luckily for the teams, the U.S. Secretary of Defense approved the game to be played. This marks the first meeting between these 2 teams.
The Quinnipiac Bobcats rugby team takes on Army as they host them at the QU rugby field. Into the first half, Devin Vieira pushes her way through the Army defense and opens up the scoring for the Bobcats as the Bobcats go up 5-0 in the game. Moving on, later on in the game, Lindy Clark sets up through a series of Army laterals and gets on the board for Army. Army now cuts the lead to 5 here. Moving on deep in Army's end here in the game, Allison Nees here pounces on the loose ball to get the try as Quinnipiac stretches the lead here to 10. Moving on now before the half concludes, Elizabeth McCracken here successfully makes the penalty kick as the score is 15-8 Quinnipiac going into halftime, second half. 8 minutes into the second half, Elizabeth McCracken finds a gap in the Quinnipiac defense and scores as the Quinnipiac lead is now down to 2. The Bobcats now begin to take over as Natalie Costco gets the try after a series of successful laterals from her teammate as the Bobcats now move up and increases the lead to 7. Moving on now, 23rd minute into the second half, Alicia Seller picks the ball at midfield and takes it all the way to the house, and she could not be stopped as she scores. The Quinnipiac now wins the game here. The Bobcats win 39-27 as that's the final score of the game. Here's Matt Delaney.
How are you preparing for next week's game against UMass?
We have several things that we do need to work on, especially if you notice in the last 4 minutes of the game, we let in a couple tries, which, once we get that momentum, we like to keep it and we like to stay on top, and we don't want to ever let our opponent back into the game. And we let Army back in a little bit, but something that we're definitely going to work on with the energy and the speed of practice.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
This is Matt Delaney. Back to you guys.
The men's and women's tennis teams were both in action this week. The men's team hosted the Quinnipiac Invitational over the weekend. The Bobcats had 4 players, including freshman Kei Isaka, make the semifinals. Unfortunately, the final day of the tournament was rained out. As for women's tennis, the team lost 5-2 in their home opener to UConn last Tuesday.
The men's and women's cross-country team traveled to Lehigh University for the Paws Short Invitational Saturday, where both teams were on their game. The men's team all combined for 11th place finish out of the 46 teams in competition. The women's team also had a productive outing as well. The team placed 25th out of the 48 teams at the event.
Freshman golfer Nicole Scola has been named MAAC Golfer of the Month. Scola has shattered school records as she fired off 5 of the lowest rounds in school history through just her first 3 rounds at Quinnipiac. Her 70 at the Dartmouth Invitational was the first under par round in school history, and her 147 total broke the program record for a 36-hole tournament.
The women's golf team is currently playing at the St. John's Invitational. The tournament is being played at Eisenhower Park Whitecourse in East Meadow, New York. Stay tuned for Q30 Sports for more information on the tournament results.
The MAAC women's basketball preseason second team has been announced. Quinnipiac's Jasmine Martin and Brittany McQueen were selected by the 11 MAAC coaches for the team. Martin and McQueen look to lead the Bobcats as they start off their first season in the MAAC on Friday. The team is coming off a 30-win season that resulted in a conference championship and an appearance in the NCAA tournament. They will be playing out of conference opponent North Carolina A&T in the preseason Women's National Invitation Tournament.
Pre-sale tickets for the Bobcats men's ice hockey game against Yale were sold out within minutes. The pre-sale tickets were available to season ticket holders. However, student tickets will still be available for the annual Heroes Hat game in November.
Quinnipiac Athletic Director Jack McDonald and MAAC Commissioner Rich Enser have submitted a bid to bring the Frozen Four down to the Sunshine State. Plans are for Quinnipiac and the MAAC to co-host the tournament at the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida for 2015, 16, 17, and 18.
What a show we had here today, Andrew.
Yes, indeed, Darnell.
But I'm upset.
Why is that?
The show's over.
Oh, it's a bummer, I know. But on the bright side, there's more information to come.
Wait, really?
Yes, indeed. For more information on Q30 Sports, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports.
Like us on Facebook and visit our YouTube page at youtube.com/user/Q30TV.
Be sure you check us out next time here on Sports Paws. I'm Andrew Badillo.
And I'm Darnell Ragland. Have a great day.